Hi, Taehyung lovers. Welcome back to the Taehyung Lovers channel all around the world. And this time, don't you dare skip the first 3 seconds. Because what you're about to see is not just a concert moment. This is something that made the world pause for a second and then ask, what really happened behind the Tokyo 2026 stage? Tokyo 2026, Day 2 at Tokyo Dome went viral, trended, and shocked the world. But not because of a grand stage or a spectacular performance. This is about something much deeper, a friendship that feels too real for an industry full of image making. And in the middle of that spotlight stood Kim Taehyung, not just as a global idol, but as someone quietly searching for home among tens of thousands of people. And listen to this carefully, don't think this is just a simple wave. Because if you truly paid attention, when Park Seo-joon, Choi Woo-shik, Hyung-sik, and Peakboy the Wuga Squad showed up on that second night, what happened on stage was no longer just an interaction between idol and audience. It was a language without sound, a language understood only by 5 people, but that night, the whole world unknowingly witnessed it. Why did Kim Taehyung keep waving over and over again as if he couldn't stop? Why did his expression change every time he spotted them in the stands? And the most chilling question, why did his performance that night feel different, more emotional, more live than usual? In this video, we're going to break it all down without filters. We'll discuss the viral moment of Kim Taehyung wave that made global army emotional, the fact of Wuga Squad's presence on the final night at Tokyo Dome, the psychological side behind Kim Taehyung's performance shift, why this friendship is called the most real in the K-pop industry. And one big question, is this the real reason Kim Taehyung seemed different that night? So before we go deeper, write in the comments now. Do you think this is just a coincidence, or is there something bigger behind all of this? Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. And most importantly, help this video go viral so the world always sees the best side of Kim Taehyung. Because maybe what we saw that night wasn't just a concert, but a confession that finally revealed itself. Tokyo 2026 Day 2 shook the world not because of grand concert, but because of sincere friendship that has always been there with Kim Taehyung, the Wuga Squad. And don't think this is just a wave. Because if you really pay attention, when Wuga Squad showed up on the second night at Tokyo Dome, Japan, it became a language understood only by 5 people, and that night, the whole world unknowingly witnessed it. April 2026 at Tokyo Dome was not just about a massive concert with tens of thousands of spectators, but about something much quieter yet far more powerful. A friendship that never changed even as the world around it kept evolving. At the center of the stage stood Kim Taehyung, known globally as an icon, but that night revealed a far more human side. Someone searching for familiar faces in a sea of strangers. Among the thousands in the crowd were 4 figures who need no introduction to those who understand Kim Taehyung's journey. Park Seo-joon, Choi Woo-shik, Hyung-sik, and Peakboy. They are the Wuga Squad, a circle of friendship not built by industry interests, but by trust that grew slowly, without camera flashes, without image pressure. In front of them, Kim Taehyung didn't need to be V of BTS. He only needed to be himself. And that night, something simple became deeply meaningful. Kim Taehyung didn't stop waving toward the stands. Not just once as a formal gesture, but repeatedly, as if driven by an emotion he couldn't hold back. Every time he found them in the crowd, his expression changed, his smile became more genuine, his gaze warmer, and his movements more alive. That was not a typical stage interaction. It was communication without words. This phenomenon raises a powerful question. Why would a star as big as Kim Taehyung still search for 4 people among tens of thousands of fans? The answer lies in a history that cannot be seen in just one night. Wuga Squad is part of his life long before the world knew his name. From casual moments without cameras to honest conversations without filters, they are witnesses to the most authentic version of Kim Taehyung, the version not always shown on stage. Every wave he gave that night was not just a greeting. It was a confession that behind all his achievements, there are people who still see him the same way they always have. That behind his global status, he still needs real connections untouched by popularity or public expectations. And in an entertainment world often filled with perfectly polished illusions, this moment felt almost too honest. What made it even stronger was how Wuga Squad responded. They didn't act like VIP guests. They stood, laughed, recorded, and enjoyed the concert like everyone else. There was no distance, no display of status differences. That's where the beauty of their bond lies, a friendship that remains equal, even when one of them has reached the top of the world. Psychologically, their presence became an anchor for Kim Taehyung. Under the immense pressure of a stage as grand as Tokyo Dome, having people who understand and beyond his public identity provides emotional stability that's hard to explain. It's no surprise that his performance that night felt different, more intense, more emotional, more alive, as if every movement and every note carried a deeper, unseen meaning. The small details reinforced this impression. The way he glanced toward the stand spontaneously, the way he smiled longer each time he found them, even the rhythm of his waves that seemed like they didn't want to end. All of it created an unwritten narrative that was deeply felt. A story of someone who, in the middle of a dazzling world, still holds tightly to something simple, genuine connection. As the concert reached its peak, with a sea of lights moving in unison and the roar of the crowd echoing throughout the stadium, Kim Taehyung kept doing the same thing, waving, as if, in the midst of all that noise, he wanted to make one thing clear, that he sees them, that he hasn't forgotten them, and that among tens of thousands, there are 4 who remain the center of his emotions. In the end, that night proved something often forgotten, that the greatest success never truly stands alone. It always has roots, people who remain even as the world changes. And at Tokyo Dome, under such bright lights, those roots were clearly visible. Now, the remaining question is no longer about the concert or the performance. It's something far more personal. Is someone standing at the top of the world is still searching for home? Have we found ours? And finally, we've reached the point that can no longer be avoided. Tokyo 2026 Day 2 at Tokyo Dome truly shook the world, but not because of the grand concert, not because of the stage or visuals, but because of something far deeper, friendship that never changes. Together with Kim Taehyung, Wuga Squad proved that behind the biggest spotlight, there's always a small circle that remains home. And remember this, don't think it's just a wave. Because if you truly pay attention, it is a language understood only by 5 people, and that night, the whole world unknowingly witnessed it. Thank you for watching until the end. If you feel this moment is more than just a concert, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. If not, that's okay, Taehyung Lovers channel never forces anyone. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think this is just an ordinary moment or proof that Taehyung is never truly alone at the top of the world? Write your thoughts in the comments. This is not the end. This is just the beginning of a bigger story. Stay tuned for the latest updates only on Taehyung Lovers. Keep following everything about Kim Taehyung here. Thank you, good night, stay safe, and see you again.